But we begin with the humiliation of the Democrats here, one after another. Just line them up if you would, because you've got a total triumph going on for one Donald Trump, while the Democrats get shattered in these humiliating television moments. I mean, you can't make it up. Like, really and truly, you cannot imagine such a bad set of facts for a bunch of people. And they forget. They just forget that there's this little thing called tape, or whatever you want to call it. Encoding, streaming, whatever. The reality is the truth exists. And so when they try and tell us something that's totally fake, like, oh, Democrats don't support healthcare for illegals, well, they get caught out with their own words. I want to go to Lawrence over on Fox on the morning show, who did a very nice job calling out one Jean Shaheen. I like to call her Jeannie because we go way back. New Hampshire. It's a New Hampshire thing, okay? And, live free or die state, great place. But for her to say this, I'm sorry. Like, Lawrence, good one, okay? Look at the clip he played her. Let's watch it together.
I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
I'm so glad you said that. Actually, I have some tape of your Democratic Party members saying this on the debate stage. So they've all said it. Let's play the clip.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Senator, that's literally every member of your party, from moderate to more progressive, that have said that in the past.
Yeah. That was good. That was good. Okay, you guys have me nervous there because, I do watch our live chat in real time. And Cat Crazy, you were complaining that you didn't have any sound. So you better have sound, because if you don't have sound, I'm going to be really upset. I did ask you all, and you guys are saying there's sound, so that's a good thing. You almost didn't have a picture for a second, but we fixed that. Anyway, this is unbelievable. They're totally being shattered. I mean, that was, and Jeannie, again, and personal anecdote here for you. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, the family that I grew up in, I've talked about this before, very sort of liberal, blue-collar roots. And my uncle at one point, actually at 2 points, or maybe at 3 points, actually ran for governor. In one of those campaigns, he was actually the Democrat nominee for governor. And I was about 10 years old. And Jeannie, that's what we call her back home, she ran the campaign. So I was there licking envelopes and stamping things and making cold calls to voters to see if they would vote for my uncle, who has, God rest his soul, wonderful man, really, really wonderful, wonderful man, but had a different sort of view on the world than I eventually came to have. Jeannie Shaheen was his campaign manager, right? So small world. So I hate to see her getting so embarrassed, but I'm sorry. You can't just sit there and tell us. You cannot tell us. You cannot lie to us. You cannot tell us, Senator Shaheen, that nobody supports this, when in fact, they all support it. It's a huge part of their platform. This is what they wanted. Hey, if Kamala was there, might be a very different story, right? I want to go to a very important soundbite of Senator Kennedy on Capitol Hill today, where he kind of just broke this down. I thought this was one of the best analysis that I've seen. And I think before we go into all the other sound that I want to show you, it's really important to understand what's at stake here, really, and what this is about. Because this continuing resolution, they could have kept the government open. They're choosing not to, right? They're deliberately choosing not to. And this is what's going to cost them in the long run, because they look like they're out there fighting for everybody except for American citizens. Senator Kennedy says it so well. This is a brilliant explanation. Let's watch together.
Now, we've had a few shutdowns before, and every shutdown is different, but most shutdowns are a combination of both policy and politics in varying degrees.
Yeah.
This shutdown, in terms of policy, makes absolutely no sense. None. What we have proposed to our Democratic colleagues and the minority leader, Senator Schumer, is to make no changes to the current budget. We just want to continue the current budget and keep government open until just before Thanksgiving to give us more time to negotiate a permanent budget. We did that many times when President Biden was president and when the Democrats had the majority. In fact, we did it 13 times. Not only have Republicans done it, but Democrats have routinely done it. But this time, the Democrats have said, no, 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 no. We want more. And you may be thinking, okay, that's reasonable. What do you want? Well, it's not reasonable. In effect, what the Democrats are saying to us is that we're going to close government unless you Republicans agree to make it bigger. We don't want the status quo. We want you to commit to spending $1.5 trillion more than you're spending now. And we, the Democrats are saying, are going to tell you how to spend it.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. So Senator Kennedy, I just thought did a great job because he articulated everything that's going on. In other words, the Democrats are making this happen. As much as they want to turn around and blame Trump, it's not flying, it's not working. And what it comes down to is that $1.5 trillion. Money that would go to illegals for their health care. And you can slice and dice this any way you want. They say it's a lie, a lie, a lie, a lie. Well, guess what? They just got called out by none other than CNN because it's not a lie, because all this money would go to all these different states that are then going to put it into their various programs to allow for illegals to have free health care. And people are not okay with that, not for $1.5 trillion. So AOC, deal with it. Here she is lying. Again, the punchline is she gets found out by none other than that liberal network, CNN.
No, not even a little bit, not even at all. This is what Republicans love to do. Whenever we fight to elevate the minimum wage, to expand Social Security, to make healthcare better in this country, in order to derail that, Republicans love to dangle this shiny object that says, but what if someone not like you gets it? The fact of the matter is, undocumented people do not and cannot access and be covered by the ACA, Medicaid, Medicare, period. There are dozens of laws in the books that enforce that, and that can be a whole other conversation. However, the fact is the Democratic proposal doesn't change that either. We are trying to change the immediate cliff where the ACA, as well as community health center funding and other kinds of healthcare funding, are about to go off a cliff and hurt millions of people.
Yeah, so that's what she says. That's what she says, right? But you already heard the very brilliant explanation from one Senator Kennedy. And the reality is AOC is totally wrong. AOC is flat out wrong. And as I explained to you, while there may be a law saying the federal government can't give the money to illegals, guess what? Doesn't bar the states from doing it. And all this money's going to the states. And guess what they're going to do? Yeah. And you know, that's not going over so well in good old California where they're struggling big time. But, you know, AOC, well, she thinks she's the queen bee that's running the whole show, right? If somebody has an issue, they can go and talk to her.
What I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance. That's what's not going to happen. And so if those senators think that we're having a shutdown because of me, they're free to enter my office and negotiate, because what we're not going to do is allow all of millions of people in this country to not be able to afford their insulin and their chemotherapy. So come strike a deal with me if that's what they really think is going on.
You heard her. You heard her, okay? Come deal with me because I'm the one in charge. I'm running this whole darn show. Forget you, Chuck Schumer. Well, I'm after your seat. Watch out, Chucky. You know, your polls are not looking so good. I have a feeling AOC could take you for a ride there, and that's exactly what he's afraid of, for goodness sakes. Oh, and Nancy Pelosi. What's she supposed to do with this young little bartender coming up out of nowhere, right? Nancy being asked about who's really in charge here. Listen to her answer.
was a thought from the Republicans that AOC is directing this, and she said that senators are welcome to go to her office directly. Is she driving that?
Why are you saying such a ridiculous thing?
I'm just quoting what AOC said. She said go to her office directly. Do you think there's any credibility to that?
She's not directing this. She's wonderful. She's a real team player and the rest of that. You started by saying...
I thought she was going to say she's a real peach. Yeah, she's real wonderful. We really love that AOC. She's a team player, all right. I mean, she's holding us all hostage right now because she's threatening Chuck Schumer. She's coming for his job, but listen to the rest.
Can say that she's directing this. She is not. Hakeem Jeffries is. And this takes a lot of experience, a lot of unity from the caucus in terms of the point of view. And that's what this is. She's an articulate spokesperson for her point of view, Hakeem Jeffries.
Wow, Nancy, I think you're kind of bothered, a little hot under the collar there when it comes to AOC. You know, I don't like her either, so I'm with you, but you guys get yourself a little problem because you've gotten boxed in, okay? And your lies are getting exposed. AOC's lies are getting exposed. Hakeem Jeffries' lies are getting exposed. And you know where it's happening? Believe it or not, it's happening on CNN. I mean, I kind of think this one anchor, Jake Tapper, is angling for a new gig at Fox. You know, he's no fool. He sees where the handwriting's on the wall and nobody's watching his show and nobody's watching CNN. And so, you know, suddenly he started to change his stripes, looking for a new gig, buddy boy. Anyway, he takes down Hakeem Jeffries quite nicely with facts right here. Watch.
Donald Trump blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is, you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah, not really a lie. Because again, what I told you about the states getting all the money. Okay, let's go on.
What you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that.
Yeah, why? Like, why? They have no answer. They have no answer. It's all about just, you know, we got to do the right thing by all these people. And by the way, you know, we used to have this money, so why can't we just keep it going? Right? We want this money to keep on coming because we put it in back during March 2020 when all HLL was breaking loose. So why can't we just keep it forever? And Donald Trump's like, no, you're not keeping it. You're not keeping it, especially knowing where it's going. All I can say is, you know what? I think people like him better with the sombrero.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bull. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know? At least for a while, until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
My God, that is funny. I'm sorry. You know what? I wasn't going to show you this, but I have to. So long as we went to the original meme, and so long as I'm telling you know what? More people see Hakeem Jeffries when he's in these memes than see him on CNN, certainly any day of the week. But Hakeem tried to go on MSNBC and attack Donald Trump for that meme that he posted, and like, these guys are just no match for him, right? Like, he doubled down big time. And it's just going to make you laugh. And if you've already seen it, I'm sorry, but you know what? It's a lot of fun to watch again.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Their lies are getting exposed by CNN and by their own words, because for whatever reason, this team of people doesn't seem to get that, they said one thing as recently as this last election season, and they can't completely change their minds on the fly just because, it sounds better right now. Not to mention what's actually written into the legislation, which would provide, right, for all of this money to be going to all of these hospitals all over the country, who are then turning around and giving the money to people who are here illegally. And that's not going to fly, certainly not with voters. I mean, you look at the Democrats right now, and we've seen in the poll numbers, they're really underwater. New York Times can't believe that Trump's approval rating hasn't budged. Like, they just can't believe this. They don't understand it. And partly it's because people see him as tough on crime. People see him as enforcing the border. They like that he's going to stand by and say, we're not going to give $1.5 trillion more in health care to all these illegals, et cetera. So as a result of that, I think actually he's got the American public with him right now. The Democrats don't, because so many Democrat voters right now are saying, well, what about us? What about me? Like, don't you care about us? And I guess the short answer, in a way, right? And the short answer to that is it certainly doesn't feel like they do. I mean, I'm going to be even more bold, and I'm going to say that no, they don't care. They don't care at all about you. We did a little short on this just yesterday, and I want to play this for you because I think, actually, let me just play you the whole message here. This is Caroline Levitt, who is the PR person, right, for the Trump White House. And she had to record a message, and I'm sure she did not want to record, but she had to do it yesterday because this is the reality of where we are right now.
I can call it.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line.
Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government because they care more about funding health care for illegal immigrants than they care about serving you, the American people. Until Democrats vote for the clean, Republican-backed continuing resolution to reopen the government, the White House is unable to answer your call or respond to your questions. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And in the meantime, please know President Trump will never stop fighting for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
I mean, it shouldn't have to be this way, right? It should not have to be this way. So again, you got everyday folks out there saying, what about us? Don't we matter? Don't we matter at all? It doesn't feel like they matter, right? Especially when you look at some of the funding that's getting cut, including, by the way, for women and children. The whole WIC program possibly getting wiped out. Here's CNN talking about this, and I want to show you the response from Democrat voters because they're not happy.
The government shutdown could mean a federal program that provides food assistance to low-income mothers and children could run out of money in days. Sources tell CNN White House Budget Chief Russ Vought warned House Republicans yesterday it could happen by next week. The most recent government data shows that nearly 7 million women, infants, and children were eligible, for WIC benefits.
Folks are really concerned about, in the long run, can they rely on this program to get their needs met? We know that for babies, WIC provides 100% of their nutritional needs, whether that's supporting their mom with lactation consulting if they're breastfeeding, or providing potentially medical specialty infant formula. So that could be a real crisis.
Okay, so we get a real crisis. So some of those Democrats are saying, why are you allowing this to happen? They're not too happy about it at all. In fact, take a look at this one. Hey, Dems, you want to know why your polls are so low? Listen to this lady.
So the Democrats want to give away $1.4 billion of free money to the immigrants for health care. And if not, if the other side don't agree with it, they talking about shutting down the government. Why the do you fight so hard for everybody but your own people? What about us?
What about us? That's what everybody's asking. That's what your polls
dollars of free money. What about us?
What about us? That's what everybody's asking. That's what your polls keep tanking. Yeah. I mean, what about us? This is, in fact, why everybody is so upset right now. Because you cannot be out there working hard on behalf of everybody else. And I mean, I know that everybody thinks of the sombrero, like AI meme. It's a joke. I get it. But it's rooted in truth. It's rooted in at least the perception of where the Democrat Party is right now. So that woman's mad. And we're seeing person after person after person come out and say, you know, I used to be a Democrat and I just feel completely abandoned by my party and I am moving on.